Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to be talking about some more commands that we can use to edit the plots. They will be more concerned with the axes, limits, and the tick marks, and other stuff like that. Again, I'm talking about these commands, although we can do all these edits easily in the property editor that we talked about before. But the point is that I'm confirming that you need to be able to do all the edits that you want by doing coding or by writing codes, because you might have a program that you are writing and you wouldn't have the luxury of going to the property editor and doing all the edits there. So I have no x and y, just two variables I defined here that I'm gonna use for plotting. So what I'm gonna do is to plot x against y, and then make it make it red solid line, make it circle, and then make the line width to be 1 and to make the marker face color to be red, and I'll make x label to be x, y label to be y, and to make grid lines. So here is the plot. I'm just gonna put them side by side so that we can see what's going on here. So the plot is good. I might have some concerns with the plot. I might need to increase the limits or change the limits of the axes, maybe to 5.5 and then 1.1. You might need to change the spacing between each tick and the other. This is the tick, if you don't know that, but this is called the tick. So you might need to change the spacing between each tick and the other for x and y, and you might need to change the font. You might need to change the font size and the font type and other things. So let's take them one by one. We talked before about a command called axis, and the axis was used before to set the limits of the x and y axis, and we said that the syntax is that you write the minimum x, which is 0, and maximum x, which is going to be 5.5, minimum y 0, and maximum y 1.1. And once you do this, you would see that it's already changing here. But the point here, which is not a very good thing when you deal with this command, is that you need to write the 4 limits if you want to change any one of the two axes. So if, for instance, if you want to change the limits of this axis, then you have to write the x minimum, x maximum, although you are not changing them. So this is not a very pleasant thing. The other thing is that you would see here that the x maximum is not shown here. It's 1.1, you know that, but because the step now is 0.2, then 1.1 is not on the ticks. So you need to know how to change it so you can have the number written here. So let's first talk about changing the limit. So there is a very nice command that's called xlimit. And xlimit actually does change the limits of x-axis. So you can put the limits. You can type auto, and this auto will make the axis chosen, or the limits of the axis chosen by the software to see what's the proper limits. The manual, for instance, in this case I have the axis already set before, and if I add another plot to the same graph, then by typing xlimit to be manual, I'm telling Matlab that do not change the limits even if you have a plot that needs to extend the limits or shorten them, whatever. So it's keeping them. Anyways, there are other options that you can check in the documentation and help of Matlab. But then what we need to put now is then to put from 0 to 5 and returning it back to the original value. So you see here it's changed from 0 to 5 again, and the y-axis was not changed, which is great. I did exactly what I want, just to do what I want for this specific axis without writing anything related to the other. The same thing I can do for y limit to make it from 0 to 1.2. So you see that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And now, so these two commands are the only commands that will be written this way. All the rest of the commands will be using the set command. So let's say I need to change the step that I have for each tick, between each tick and the other. I will make it 0.25. It's gonna be very crowded here, but let's just give it a try. or make it or make it 0.25. So the set command, you have to specify first what is the thing that you are gonna set, and what is the property of that thing, and what is the value of the property of that or the value of that property that you're setting. So what we use for the plotting is called GCA. GCA, I don't know exactly the abbreviation, what does it stand for, but I think it is current axis or current window, I don't know, but it is concerned with the plots that you have. So I have it here set GCA, and then I need to set the property, and the property is the X tick. And make sure that you write the X in uppercase, because it will not accept it in lowercase. At least in my case, it didn't accept it. So I have now X tick, and I should now tell him what is the spacing that I want to be, or how would the ticks look like. So you can put them 0. I will not make it 0.25, I will just make it 0.1, or I mean 1 instead of 0.1. So I make it 1, 2, 5. Okay, so you see now the step is 1. You can type it another way. You can make it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's gonna do the same thing. You can rechange it by typing 0.5, and it's going back to the original tick marks or tick spacing. The same can be applied for Y tick. Again, Y should be uppercase, and you want to make it from 0 to 1.2 with the spacing of 0.1, and here you go. One thing that you need to notice is that if you make it to a lower value, the limits will not change, because you have already set the limits using X and Y limit commands. So if you put the Y ticks to a point which is less than the maximum Y that you set before, it's gonna stop here, but it's not gonna change the limits. It will keep the limits, because this is not changing the limits. It's just changing the ticks, not the limits. So you have to keep that in mind. So I'll make it 0.2. So now we change the tick marks spacing, and we change the limits of the axis, and now I might need to change the font. Again, I'm gonna do everything will be now using GCA, and here I'm gonna or before the font, I can change the tick length and the tick direction. Sometimes people would like to have the ticks looking outside, not inside. So what you need to do is simply type tick dir with dir, which is the direction, and you can have one of two options, either to make it in or out. I make it out, and you see it's now looking outside. You can change even the tick length. By doing the tick length, you would choose to make it of whatever length. I would make it 0.05. I don't know why, but it does not accept a single number. You have to make it a matrix of 2 by 1, or 1 by 2, I'm sorry. So you see here it's huge. It's getting like very large. So I can make it a little smaller, make it 0.2, 0.01, 0.01. And if you try to just put one single number, it's gonna show you an error. It has to be 2 by 1 vector. I'm sorry, 2 by 1, not 1 by 2. So anyways, this is how it accepts it. So you have to write it the way it likes. The last thing is to change the font and the font size and the font type. And to do this, you do the same thing, set GCA, and you type the font size, and you choose to make it 14, for instance. So this is usually 10, 12 maximum, so when you make it 14, the font will get larger. You can change it. The last thing we are doing today is the font name. And to write the font name, you have to make sure that you write the font name correctly. And it's kind of tricky, because sometimes the font has some uppercase letters and sometimes it doesn't, so you have to be very aware of the spelling and the cases of the letters. So I have one font that I know is called Comic Sans MS, which is a very famous Windows font. So you can see it changed here. You can make it I remember there was a font that was kind of weird. I get it from the history now. It's called P22 something. Yeah. So you see, it's kind of not that kind of fonts that we use in plotting, but you can change any font that you like. I can return it back to, let's say, the Arial, and here it comes. So you can simply change all the formats that you want from here by just typing some codes, and as you saw, they're all set GCA, and then all what you need to do is to revise or memorize these commands. I personally do not memorize them. I go to the help and then put them here. It's not easy for me to do this. By the continuous working or typing the codes, you would memorize them and know how to do all this stuff. So I hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.